till you're done.
The time is 6:30 PM, and the Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of Tuesday, August 6th, 2019 is now called to order, and we do have a quorum present. Agenda item 2 is approval of the minutes of the July 16th, 2019 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the meetings as presented? If not, may I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve?
Okay, motion by Mary Ellen,
A second.
seconded by John. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 3 is a consent agenda for a plat. It is the final plat of Lakewood Hills West Edition Phase 2, containing 164 residential lots, 1 open space lot. It is on 51.435 acres out of the RP Hardin Survey, abstract number 613. It is zoned PD or PUD, Planned Unit Development. It's located on the west side of Josie Lane, approximately 900 feet south of Windhaven Parkway. Jonathan?
Good evening, Commissioners. There's one plat on the consent agenda to be considered for approval. This plat complies with all regulations found in Louisville's development ordinance. We ask that P&Z approve with the condition that the signatures are required at a later date.
Commissioners? Okay, may I have a motion on item 3A for the plat?
Motion to approve with the signatures at a later date.
Okay, motion by William,
Second.
seconded by Mary Ellen.
Karen.
Karen, I mean. It happens all the time.
Switch.
Okay, those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Agenda item 4 is public hearings for consent agenda plat. There is one. It's the final plat of Oak Bend Estates, Lot 1, Block A, by 3.695 acres. It's out of the Buffalo, Bayou, Brazos, and Colorado Railway Survey, abstract number 1457. It is zoned mixed-use MU, located on the north side of Oak Bend Drive, and it's between Rockbrook Drive and Euchre Drive, being a replat of the High Point at Tender Creek Edition, Lot 1, Block C.
Good evening, Commissioners. You might recall this project from its previous rezoning and preliminary plat. We have now finished up with the final plat stage. All of the variances were previously approved by City Council. So it is within your authority to approve this after a public hearing this evening. It does require a public hearing as it is a replat.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, questions? Okay, if not, I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak on this issue, please come forward, sign in, and state your name.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jason Rose. I'm actually the developer of the property. This is the final part to get started on this. I've got the sub-bids in place. I'm excited about this property. If any of you have seen it or you recall, it's very beautiful, heavily treed. Worked hard with staff to kind of take advantage of that nature, and I believe it's perfect for residential, and we're going to do a good job, and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, comments, questions? If not, may I have a motion on item 3A for Oak Bend Estates?
Move to approve?
Moved to approve by Mary Ellen,
Second.
seconded by Alvin. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioners. Both plats are now approved.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 5, zoning and special use permits. Item 5A is consideration of a special use permit for a residential accessory building to exceed 500 square feet on approximately 0.3785 acres. It's legally described as Lot 21, Block A of the Oak Ridge Park Estates, Section G. It's located at 109 Mary's Court, and it is zoned single-family residential, R 7.5. The request is by Diane Waco of Clayfie Pools on behalf of Tim Dvorak and Kim Van Buren, the property owners. This is case number SUP 2019-0608. Jonathan?
Commissioners, the property owners at 109 Mary's Court are looking to build a 1,029 square foot accessory building. Any accessory building over 500 square feet requires the approval of a special use permit. This accessory building will function as storage and help screen the lights and noise generated from I-35. It will be a 3-sided metal building with a brick exterior that will match the exterior of the existing house. This proposed building conforms with all the requirements regarding zoning setbacks, height, and lot coverage. Are there any questions?
Any comments from neighbors?
I have received no indication that anyone's called about this project.
Okay. Okay. Does that present an issue?
Sorry?
You said they were or were not notified.
I have heard nothing of anybody calling. asking about
Letters
this
were
project.
sent out to the adjacent property owners within 200 feet. We have not received any calls.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Any other questions?
So this will basically only be seen from the service road of I-35?
No, there is a road that goes behind this building, and it will be, basically, there's a school in the parking lot, creates a situation where all of the lights from I-35 and the noise cuts right across that parking lot. There is a road on the other side of this property.
So, okay, so
it'll be
this is
facing.
Delay Middle School. So it's that road between the middle school?
Savage Street or Savage Road.
Right, it's Savage Lane. Correct.
Open space over there, isn't it?
Behind the property is the school and the parking lot.
Parking lot on that side of the school. Okay, thank you. This time we'll open up the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. All right, having no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing. Comments, concerns? I do have a few comments myself. I made 3 trips out there, one of them at 10 o'clock at night, and one in the morning, one in the afternoon. As far as the noise abatement, it didn't seem any louder than any other neighborhood would be. And between the backyard, there's a city street, a school parking lot, tree foliage barrier, a service road, and a green area before you get to the 8-lane highway. So that should be a good indication of noise abatement. I looked at the lights at night. There are 2 very tall light structures from the highway department, and they're designed to go straight down, but they're so high compared to the property that they do come out into the neighborhood. I'm not sure they're any brighter than they would be if the school had a street light on Savage Street. And also there's lights in the parking lot of the school, just adjacent to the street, adjacent to the fence. Those, I guess, weren't real concerns, except it does make the justification for those 2 issues a little bit on the light side. I did notice that the foundation was already poured, but Jonathan explained to me that that was done on an earlier case, and that the applicant wasn't aware that he needed an SUP to do that. I was a little concerned about the address for Clayfie Pools. If you look up in the internet, it lists 109 Mary's Court. I was a little concerned that that was going to be a pool chemical storage facility. So that's my comments anyway. And, anybody else?
No.
Okay, if not, may I have a motion on item 5A?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by William,
Second.
seconded by Alvin. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, Commissioners. This item will be appearing for its second public hearing before City Council on September 9th.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, item 5D, or B, is the consideration of a special use permit for an auto display, sales, and/or repair facility, specifically for a U-Haul rental facility. It's on approximately 4.139 acres. It's legally described as Lot 1, Block A of the Crest Storage Edition. It's located at 1060 West Round Grove Road, and it's zoned light industrial L1. It's being requested by Victor Lysick Jr. From VTEC Incorporated on behalf of Quinn Chen, Crest Storage LLC, the property owner. This is SUP case 2019-0805.
Good evening, good evening, Commissioners. This is a request for a special use permit to allow U-Haul rental services to be added to the existing Crest Storage building that's located on the corner of FM 3040 in East Lane. This property was originally developed back in 2015 under the SUP4 self-storage facility. At the time, staff worked closely with the applicant to make sure that they provide the best product that they can put forward. So the building met the 80% brick and stone requirement and provided additional details, architectural details, and they provided 18 extra trees and provided 25 feet landscape buffer, which exceed the 10 feet required. At this time, the applicant is requesting to convert out of 84 existing parking strip to designate 3 of them to be a designated storage parking for the U-Haul. Currently, they do exceed, require parking by 3 spaces. Converting these 3 to a storage would not affect their parking requirement negatively. With this request, they are asking to place 1 window decal to the facade that's facing 3040. Based on the elevation, it's a very small portion of the existing window panes and would not have significant effect visually. Just wanted to mention that the applicant made the last-minute changes to make sure that the fire lane in the area is not compromised with someone parking the vehicles in a crooked way or anything like that. So they have requested to make the changes to their original application and to locate these parking to the east property line versus behind the ornamental gate. The east property line is abutting a apartment complex. However, at this particular location, they have covered parking with a garage, and it's not directly adjacent to any of the residential units of the apartments. If you have any questions, staff is available. Also, the applicant is available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner? Okay, thank you, June. This time we'll open up the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak on this subject, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Okay, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Any comments, concerns, commissioners? If not, may I have a motion on item 5B?
Move to approve.
Move to approve by Mary Ellen.
Second.
Second, Eram. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank
Aye.
you, Commissioners. This item will also go to a second public hearing with the City Council on September the 9th.
Okay, thank you. Item 5C is consideration of a special use permit for a contractor's yard on approximately 3 acres, legally described as lots 5 and 6, Block A of the ARTX Park Edition, located on the west side of Mario Street, approximately 790 feet south of East Main Street, Zone Heavy Industrial, HI, requested by Doug Powell of G&A McAdams and Stan Morrow of Cooper Excavation on behalf of C&M Real Estate LLC, the property owner. This is case number SUP 2019-0806. Jonathan?
Commissioners, Cooper Excavation is an excavation company that works on grading and utility installation. They currently have offices in Louisville, but they're looking to bring their heavy equipment shop and outside storage here as well. They're proposing a two-phase project. The first phase is what's presented to you tonight, which involves a shop space and outdoor storage located off of Mario Court. The second phase will add an office building to this site as well. A new special use permit will be required to be approved for the second phase. The proposed site features a 4,500 square foot building and 3,600 square feet of outside storage. A fourth of this building will be used as an office, and the rest will be used as shop space. The storage yard will be screened with an 8-foot tall masonry wall where visible from the public right-of-way. The heavy industrial zoning district allows for any materials, any type of building materials. The applicant is proposing a masonry veneer for the front elevation as a part of the special use permit. The side and rear elevations will be a flat metal panel siding that will be painted tan. The applicant is also proposing some enhanced landscaping as a part of this special use permit. This involves 2 additional shade trees as well as a meandering landscape bed along the front of the property. There is one variance being requested with the special use permit. It is to allow a reduction in the required parking from 23 spaces to 8 spaces. Cooper Excavation only plans to have 3 mechanics on site and 2 additional employees present at any time. If this property were to redevelop, there's adequate space on the property to provide additional parking to meet the code requirements. And phase 2 of this project is also proposed to bring additional parking. Are there any questions?
Commissioners? No. Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
The applicant is also present if you had any questions for him.
This time we'll open up the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak on this subject, please come forward and state your name and sign in.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Patricia Fant. I'm the applicant, and I just wanted to say I'm here for any questions. So.
Thank you, Patricia. Having no one else come forward, the public hearing is now closed.
Commissioners, I did fail to mention that there was a mistake in the packet with the SUP request letter. The applicant, there was a mistake with the revenue that the business brings in. They put $2.5 million, and they wanted to make sure you knew that's $25 million. They will provide an updated letter for the city council meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions, concerns, comments? If not, may I have a motion on item 5C for contractor's yard?
Move to approve.
Second.
Oh, Hiram, okay. Seconded by Karen? Okay. There's an echo back here. Okay. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, Commissioners. This item will be reappearing before City Council on September 9th for a second public hearing.
Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, item 6 is public hearing for plans and zoning text amendments. Item 6A is consider amending the Old Town Master Plan.
Good evening, Commissioners. This item and the item after this are companion items. The item before you is an amendment to the 2003 Old Town Master Plan, particularly in the recommendations for land uses, particularly in the Old Town core, which is defined as the area along Main Street between Charles and Mill Street. In the current Old Town Master Plan, it does state that area, as far as land uses, that the city should limit allowed land uses to those that complement pedestrian movement, such as small store, retail, restaurants, and office uses. A lot of additional development has happened since 2003, and to support the proposed amendments to the next item, staff is proposing the addition of some language to provide a little bit more clarity as to the placement of offices. That additional language is as follows. To achieve maximum pedestrian movement and activity, the mixture of recommended uses should be balanced by limiting the ground floor occupancy of those that are typically closed on weekends, such as office uses, and encouraging their placement on upper floors of buildings, particularly those fronting West Main Street between Mill Street and Charles Street. So with that, I would entertain any questions. If none, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So we open up the public hearing at this time. Anybody wishes to speak, please come forward and sign in. Okay, having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, comments?
I will say I'm glad that this is being changed because there's probably businesses right now that are stifling the downtown economy. So keeping them on the second floor is well needed, I think.
Any other comments?
I assume that anybody moved to the second floor, whatever these are, all ADA compliant for their patrons to get to these floors?
Correct. They'd have to meet all current building codes.
I figured, but I just thought I'd put that out there.
So there's no existing non-conforming, right?
Well, we're kind of getting into the parameters of the next item. This is just basically inserting additional language to the master plan as kind of a guideline. And then the next item actually gets into the zoning district requirements in non-conforming uses.
Okay. I guess we need a motion on this.
Move to approve?
Move to approve by William,
Second.
second by Aram. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, item B, 6B, public hearing zoning text amendments, is consider amending Chapter 17 zoning of the Louisville City Code by amending Section 17-3 definitions and additional use regulations to add a definition for professional offices, Section 17-22.6, Old Town Center Business District regulations to create a sub-district within the district with additional restrictions on height and a sub-area within the sub-district with additional restrictions on the uses, and Section 17-21.5 SUP special use permit to clarify the transferability of an SUP.
Good evening again, Commissioners. As I mentioned earlier, this is a companion item to the previous item. There's really three different sections of the zoning ordinance that are being amended as part of this item. The first one is to provide a definition for offices. The current zoning ordinance lacks a definition. That definition would read, any offices maintained and used as part of a place of business which is the primary purpose, in which the primary purpose is not to sell or exchange goods or merchandise. The second thing is actual amendment to the actual Old Town Center zoning district. And the proposed changes are twofold. As you mentioned in the caption for this item, it's dealing with height and with uses for office uses requiring an SUP. As far as the height, right now, the entire zoning district has a height limitation of 45 feet. The proposed amendment would raise that to 75 feet, except for the core of the district, which are all of the properties which front Main Street between Charles and Mill, and then also the additional properties, basically here in front of the east side of City Hall, which would be there's one property fronting East Church Street, or West Church Street, I'm sorry, and there's another property fronting North Mill Street. So those are the properties that are adjacent to the plaza. Those would be limited to 45 feet, while the other areas east of Mill Street and then along Elm Street to the south would be allowed to go 75 feet, which is the height limitation of the OTMU2 district, which surrounds the areas designated for the Old Town Center district. The second portion of the OTC amendment deals with office uses, and that would allow office uses only by a special use permit on the ground floor of the area or the properties that front Main Street between Mill and Charles. Office uses, that also, the other uses that would require SUPs would include business or commercial schools, medical and dental clinics, day nurseries, and any other professional offices. So those would all be allowed by right on the second floor and would require a special use permit on the ground floor. Now, the existing offices, which comprise currently today 27% of the total ground floor square footage in this area along Main Street, they would be considered legal nonconforming, which means they could continue exactly as they are. They just would not be allowed to expand, and they would be allowed to operate as long as they want to. Now, if they were to cease using it as an office for more than 90 days, then they would have to get a special use permit. And typically, the city would look favorably upon a structure or a space that had been used as an office long-term. We have several that have been in offices for 20 years plus. We've also, as part of the outreach process, had even offered to grant SUPs to the existing office owners if they wish. Most of them, though, that we have reached out to feel that it'd be better to just remain illegal nonconforming. Also, the final amendment as part of this item is changing our SUP standards, and this would be a city-wide change. That would give the city or the council, when they approve an SUP, the ability to grant the SUP either to the property or to the applicant. And this would be a tool that we could use here in Old Town, where they could specify that the SUP be granted to the user. So if it is sold or reoccupied by another office use, they would have to get another SUP. That just gives the city a little bit more control in keeping that good balance. We're a little bit over a quarter, or 25% is a good percentage for office uses in that area. But if it gets, much higher than that, then that will take away from the ability to have active pedestrian activity along Main Street, and especially evenings and weekends. So with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
I have a couple of points of reference from my mind. If a three-story building is 45 feet, that would be like 170 in the Awesome Center, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm with you so far. The 75-foot, is that 4 stories? Or is that 5 stories?
That could potentially be about 5 stories.
Okay. So, again, a point of reference, say Main and Mill, the old KW building. That's kind of outside this area. Is it a 45 or is it a 75?
That would be in the 75-foot zone. So all of the portions of the district east of Mill Street would be 75 feet. And then only like where the city parking lot is along Elm, just those properties fronting Elm. So really that block really gets split. The northern half of the block that fronts Main Street remains at 45. So our historic core remains at the 45 feet.
The requirements for height, I'm sorry, for height and stories are not or, right?
Correct, it's just a height. But typically, with commercial uses, your ground floor is typically higher, 12 to 15 feet. Residential uses that may be on top are not quite that tall. They may only be 10 to 11 feet in height. It just a lot depends on the uses and the method of construction.
Anybody else?
Just had a question about the transfer of SUPs. The only thing I kind of wonder about, right, is if you have a tenant that vacates, whatever, say they have an office setting in there, another tenant wants to take over that space, almost use it identical to what it was using, how it was used earlier. Would that, run into an issue?
Well, there's kind of two different scenarios there. The existing businesses that are there today would be legal nonconforming.
Right.
Now, they could sell or re-tenant as many times as they want to for as long as they want to, as long as there's not a 90-day gap. If the space remains vacant for more than 90 days, then all current requirements apply, which would require the
Back to
SUP.
square one, right?
I'm sorry?
If they exceed the 90 days on a vacancy, then now they're back to square one.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But not if they get the other tenant in there prior to the 90th day.
That is correct.
Okay.
Now, if a space applies and is granted a special use permit for an office use, and that user stays 5 years, and they decide to move to a different, say to an upper floor,
Sure.
then there's a vacant space. For that to be reoccupied by another office use, then they would have to apply for a special use permit. And again, those are all case-by-case
Now,
basis.
the 90 days is applying to that suite or the premise?
It would just be to that, whatever area is occupied by that use.
Okay,
So it could be a portion of a ground floor or all of the ground floor.
okay.
It just depends on the situation of the site.
Anything else? Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
This time we'll open up the public hearing. Anyone that wishes to speak, please come forward, sign in, and state your name. Having no one come forward, the public hearing is now closed. Any additional comments? All right, if not, may I have a motion on item 6B for amending Chapter 17?
Move to approve.
Motion approved by William,
Second.
seconded by Mary Ellen. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
And this item will be considered by the City Council at a second public hearing on Monday, August the 19th at 7 o'clock p.m., and they will be making a final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last item is 7 for announcements. Special meeting on August 20th, 2019, a joint meeting with the City Council, and there's an earlier start time.
Yes, Commissioners, so we have scheduled a joint Planning and Zoning Commission City Council meeting, and that is scheduled to be on August the 20th at 6:30 p.m., and that meeting will be to talk about the update to our code overhaul. So we'll give you kind of a direction of which way we're looking to go with the zoning ordinance to get your feedback from both you and the council as a group. In addition, we will be beginning the Planning and Zoning Commission regular portion of the meeting prior to the joint meeting. So the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting will start at 5:30, and then we'll have the joint meeting at 6:30. If there's an issue with you getting to the meeting by 5:30, please let us know just so we can confirm a quorum at that time. And also, the meeting will be held, and this will be on the agenda, Because it's a joint meeting, we'll have space at the MCL Grand in the recital hall.
Thank you. Michelle? Okay, item 8, adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn by Mary Ellen,
I'll second.
seconded by John. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Meeting adjourned.
So the 5:30 is here or there?